Welcome to the Lunation situation. We are going to talk about the new moon in Leo occurring August 16th at 9:37 in the morning GMT. Adjust for your local time. This new moon is sizzling in the sign of Leo occurring at 23 degrees. It is conjunct the Venus retrograde that is occurring over the whole summer. And it means that this new moon has the heightened flavor of this Venus retrograde. It also kind of means, because this is a new moon, it bursts the coming 6 months, right? Because this is a birth chart of of this new moon in Leo, it kind of gives me the feeling that this Venus retrograde energy is going to linger over the coming 6 months. So this is going to be a topic, a period, a theme that we are required to really integrate whatever we're experiencing. This Venus retrograde seems to be very key, very important for our development, very important for the coming 6 months. It's going to take us places. So whatever we reflect upon, because Venus retrograde is retrospective, right? So whatever we look back on, whatever we decide to improve, to work on, to enhance in our lives, to receive and invite in, is something we will maybe even see the fruits of that process within the coming 6 months. So the Venus retrograde seems to be that powerful, because it is conjunct this new moon in Leo. First of all, we always start with, what is a new moon? Well, a new moon is where in the sky the sun and moon are together, which means that the moon isn't visible. And that means that in the chart, the sun symbol and the moon symbol are right together. They are conjunct, as they say in astrology. In that darkness of the sky, it means that a new lunar circle is being born, right? And that new lunar circle specifically here is a 6-month cycle where the Leo energy is born. And the Leo energy represents certain houses in your chart. So that area will be highlighted for the coming 6 months, starting with this new moon. And if you have any placements in Leo, of course, they are enlarged around this time too. Now, new moons are fresh starts, right? It's a beginning theme. Fresh energies are coming in. This is where we plant seeds. This is where we do manifestations, where we do our wishes, where we really focus on what we want to begin, what kind of experiences we want to invite into our lives. So it's excellent for stuff like that. A new moon in Leo is all about the Leo topics. Leo is a very excited energy. It's very energetic. It's all about self-expression, exploring the arts, singing, dancing, being noticed, being in the forefront, being in the limelight, being a little bit more extravagant, being more expressive through your clothes, through, tapping into your creative outlets, picking up upon hobbies, ways of, letting yourself out, letting yourself be seen, voicing your emotions, expressing your emotions through art and creativity is a big theme. The Leo is also about movement, excitement. So, this is where we get active. This is where we can, want to engage in more activities, where we could do more sports, where we will feel stronger physically as well. This is where you can really improve your vitality in your body, feeling good, and that also is about romance and passion and relationships, excitement about that, dating, right? And also, Leo is the energy of children, and it represents in the sense that, this is an excellent time to question and increase your amount of play in your life, your amount of having fun in your life, and what you can do to increase these things in your life. They're very important to balance everything out, right? We need play, we need pleasure, we need to tap into our inner child and to be a little bit more relaxed, to be more expressive, being, less caring of what other people think, and really just exploring who you are and how you can be more boldly who you are. I always see Leo as also the sign that is excellent at expressing themselves, voicing themselves. They're very good at, stepping up and being heard, and like standing up for others as well. So that's another theme that you can really work with here. But Leo is also about leadership. It's also about taking charge in your life. This new moon in Leo, you could really feel the energy to, do that, take some action and follow your passion, follow your almost childlike desires. There is something in that. There's something really valuable in those childhood motivations, This is also a time where you could really explore what other talents you have within yourself that you could really use on your journey, And as I said, with Venus retrograde right conjunct this moon, it is all about the Venus retrograde energy. I have a whole video on that I will link below this one that I really advise you to watch, because this is an energy that will, continue till September 4th, because that's the retrograde period. But as I said, because it's conjunct this moon, it's actually a 6-month period, meaning that whatever we do, or whatever insights we gain, or whatever inner process we undergo, transformation we undergo during this Venus retrograde, we will see the results within 6 months. We will see the results during the full moon in Leo, which occurs somewhere around February of 2024. So remember that this is a really key period. And the Venus retrograde, in a nutshell, is all about, I feel, how do you want to be loved? Really being honest with yourself about how you want to be loved. And if that's not the case in your life, if that's not occurring, first of all, we have to ask ourselves, are we loving ourselves the way we want to be loved? One, are we being compassionate with our own needs, right? Are you being kind and, fun and loving with yourself? Are you expressive with your needs, wants, desires? Do you even know them? And then we can ask, is that represented in our environment? And if it's not, we have to make, of course, the, sometimes tougher decisions to end those things that aren't giving us the way we want to be loved. The way we have to be honest with ourselves. Are we able and capable of loving that way as well? And if we are, then, it's time to make some decisions. And as I said, this process will probably be very, very clear after September 4th, when Venus goes direct. And then we'll see the results within 5-6 months. So that's pretty promising. So it's really important to, to be really knowledgeable about yourself, about your self-worth, what you deserve. And I also feel that this Venus retrograde is very much about tapping into the power of your heart. And that is more than just romantic relationships, right? The power of the heart is a strong, intuitive, knowledge house. And it's also the place of magnetism, where we really, the power of the heart is where you truly attract what you want in your life. So tapping into the power of the heart is a very important aspect of, awareness, of awakening to the full power of being here in this life right now. But of course, Leo is also about, well, especially Venus in retrograde in Leo, is also about finances and, purchasing power and luxury stuff. It's also about beauty, art, and creativity, right? So this lunation is also making something really important, and that is a square to Uranus, which is almost, exact. It's both at 23 degrees of the fixed signs. The new moon is in Leo, but Uranus is in Taurus. So this is a tension filled angle. This is where we could feel very discomforting around finances, around pleasure, around it could feel like it's shaking things up in our lives. And this is actually a Venus retrograde theme. Venus retrograde is squaring Uranus a couple of times. As you'll notice, everything that I'm speaking of at the beginning part of this video, and I'll make clear which part that is actually everything Venus retrograde related. As I said, Venus retrograde and this new moon are intertwined. So Uranus square this new moon is a Venus retrograde theme. And I've, as I said, talked about this in that video, but it means that it could create some tension in the financial sector. This could create tension in our own budget, in, prices going up, or crashes in the stock exchange, or like currency rates. I'm not a financial advisor, but Taurus is all about our finances. Leo is all about luxury, and in a way, finances, it's about the elites, it's about luxury, it's about gold. So you can really feel that and Venus being retrograde in Leo is a financial theme. So there is something about finances here that's not pleasurable, that is really could be discomforting. But for some people, of course, it's always for some, it's an opportunity to actually, take advantage of it and even make more money. So, but that's something that could occur. It's also just a very discomforting feeling with the reality that you're in. Taurus is the first earth sign, so it's about our material reality, our simple way of living. It's also about survival and like the basic needs that you have in your life, like food and shelter. So there could be some tension around those topics. In the end, I always say, a square is a hard angle, but it's there to get our attention, right? It's there to get our focus. The discomfort is meant to get our attention. And what is really required in the highest expression, of course, is, Uranus is about liberation, is about freedom, and is about doing it uniquely in your own way, finding your authentic voice, finding your authentic needs, and really, innovating ideas and concepts. So the square with this new moon is, we have to find things we have to do it differently. Leo is about the heart. And then Taurus is Venus ruled, which is about relationships as well. It's about worth, about self-worth, values, So I feel that there's a correspondence between these two. So I guess that Uranus is just breaking it open, breaking it free, so that we really focus on the essentials in our lives, what matters, what feels good. We really have to get wrap our heads around it, wrap our hearts around it, what matters, what feels good, and doing that in a unique, authentic way. It's time to push through. It's time to break through, right? To really liberate yourself in some kind of way. And maybe that's through being honest also about what your needs are in love, right? And also maybe how you can step up yourself in love more. This is also about, increasing your self-worth as well. So, Uranus can really bring in those ideas, concepts, thoughts, higher wisdom, different perspectives that we could really use in our development, in our understanding of things, in our understanding of our needs, so that we step up in our lives, so that we get what we want, And I feel kind of related to that. Another Venus retrograde topic is that this new moon is trining, and that's positive, Chiron in Aries. Now, Chiron is about our really deep traumatic wounds. But because this is a very lovely aspect, because this is a flow, and a harmonious flow of energy, this means that this Venus retrograde is really profoundly healing issues around our self-identity, around our physical appearance, around, feeling more full of vitality, knowing what to do with that, and really being able to take leadership in your own life, to take charge in your own life. This aspect is really helping us to be able to say, this is what I want, and to prioritize yourself in your own life. So this is lovely. This is a very healing energy that this new moon brings to our self-identity, to our self-esteem, to our self-value, right? So not only is this occurring in this new moon, as I said, it's also a Venus retrograde topic. Another one, of course, is the trine to the North Node, who has moved into Aries, right? Now, the new moon trining the North Node is, again, super positive, a flow of energy. We're tapping into what kind of direction we want to take. We're we're learning more about, just as I said with the Chiron theme, stepping into, bravely into who we are, bravely accepting what we need and what we deserve, and being vocal about it, being expressive about it. Again, putting yourself first. And this is what we're really learning with this North Node theme anyway over the 18 months. But it's also very much a Venus retrograde topic. And again, as I said, it is very much this new moon topic. So we are really empowering ourselves. And I think that's why this Venus retrograde is so lovely, so important. And we're really going to feel so much stronger. It's a reason why in tarot, Leo is the strength card. We are really becoming bolder in who we are, stronger in who we are, and so much more in our own power, because self-knowledge is power. Knowing who you are, knowing what you want, what you need, what you deserve is power, is magnetic. And that's, again, that heart power theme that Leo is enhancing. That is the empowerment, Through that self-knowledge, we're stepping into the power of the heart. And then you just attract, then you can almost, relax and take it easy, and it flows to you. That's almost this kind of energy, I feel. But the work part is about yourself. It's about diving into yourself and, filtering out, getting rid of layers that are not you. And, this is a discovery, right? There's a reason why Leo is so expressive, so creative. It tries these things and it just puts itself out there. because it's not afraid. It's very fearless, right? This is, again, tapping into empowerment is about being fearless, is being courageous. This is all that we're learning. And the creativity aspect and the expressive aspect is needed for that, is needed to, to explore who are you then, right? If all that you've been taught until now wasn't really you, it was like put upon you, embedded on you, and now you're discovering who you are. And then, but then how? Well, like this, by expressing, by trying things, by being creative, having these outlets, being taking risks, having activities, being sporty, being doing and being in motion, in movement. And when you are doing all of that, you collaborate with the universe, and all that movement and excitement and trying out and like putting out these vibrations that you literally are doing with Leo. It's the sun, so you radiate out with all this expression and creativity, and this is where you form. As I said, Leo is ruled by the sun, and it's no coincidence that the symbol for the sun is a circle with a dot in the center, and the dot is you. The dot is your soul, your center. It's why the sun is called, in Latin, soul. It's, your soul, right? So you can tell that it's a profound thing. And then, of course, I'm going to explain something profound, hopefully. In this chart, there's also 2 yachts. And up until this time, the last couple, I guess 2 lunations, this yacht was made with Venus retrograde. But because Venus retrograde has moved a little down in degree, it's at 18 degree, it's not involved in this yacht anymore. But who is? Of course, this new moon, right? As I said, the Venus retrograde topics and this new moon are intertwined, are intermingled. They're kind of the same. So this new moon is just giving empowerment to the Venus retrograde topics. Anyway, so this new moon is involved in 2 yachts. Those are divine. That's like the ultimate divine language. It's the finger of God pointing to something really significant. Like our biggest, furthest, most divine goal there is. And as I said, until now, that was Venus retrograde. Now it's the new moon. And involved are Pluto, massive transformation of the soul, Neptune, washing away, removing all that isn't good for your soul, and, it's all about spirituality and the higher expression of love and creativity. And also involved is this new moon, of course, and also the South Node in Libra, which is all about behaviors and patterns that didn't serve in relationships, in relating with people. So that's about related to these Chiron themes, and of course the North Node, meaning that we have to put ourselves first, right? We have to take leadership over our lives and be honest in our needs and wants. And Libra is right the opposite. It's very hard to prioritize yourself with Libra energy. It's more about adjusting yourself almost to the needs of others, because it's a very pleasing kind of energy, and very good at mediating all these different needs and thoughts. And the consequence of, a lower expression of Libra is losing yourself, not knowing who you are, what you need, and therefore not being able to express those things anyway. So you could, with a South Node Libra, feel that you don't matter, that nobody is, um, putting you first, that you feel kind of lost in your relationships or relating with people. It's not really being sure of what you want, and that it stands in the way of leadership in your own life. In essence, because these yaws are pointing to the new moon, both of them, it means that there's a key moment here in this moment in time that, as I said, it's all about strengthening our heart, knowing our heart's desires, and being so courageous and bold with that, being so expressive with that, being so more of who you are, shining brightly, sparkling light into this life that you have, being really excited again in your life. And this is just about, transforming all of that into the truer essence of who you are, to come into that soul essence, as I said, that sun essence, and shining again, contributing again, stepping up again. And everyone deserves to know who you are, right? You're such a light. You have so much to contribute to this world. I feel that we all are required, especially in this Venus retrograde, but this new moon is emphasizing it, that it's time to stand in our own light, to shine again, to radiate love again for ourselves, for creations, for the whole creation of everything, and each other and others, and romantically, and in all ways, and the whole involvement with Neptune and Pluto is just bringing in these really big, higher perspectives, that we need to understand the whole transcendental value of love and how important it is for our soul and for this earthly reality right now. We really are called clearly, strongly, forcefully to understand our own power, to shine brightly, and to love fiercely, to love courageously, to be love, to live love, to attract love, to radiate out love, okay? In the background of this lunation, there are two things catching my attention that I want to talk about. There is a grand trine, a grand earth trine, which means a huge harmonic flow of energy, really being able to ground something into this reality, to really change and make something new tangible, right? And this grand earth trine is between Pluto going retrograde in Capricorn, and then Uranus in Taurus, and Mars in Virgo conjunct with Mercury in Virgo. Well, on a side note, Mercury and Mars are brothers. They're kind of a bit mischievous. But in Virgo, where definitely Mercury is very comfortable. This is a sign he rules. So our mind, our attention, our motivation is all about improving our lives, improving our material reality, and also our health and well-being, okay? It's really important. new moon in Leo is also, as I said, very much about vitality in your body as well. It's about feeling good in your body, right, as well. So this Earth trine is bringing that up again. This is something we will easily do around this time. I feel that this grand Earth trine is a great manifestation powerhouse right in the background of this new moon. So this just enhances any manifestation or wishing rituals that you want to do with this new moon portal. And Uranus is just here to, it's shaking things up in a good way. It's getting rid of all the unnecessary together with Pluto. It's stripping us to the bare truth of it all. And that just gives us so much, you know, willpower and empowerment, force to create the reality we want. And our mind is in it, our body's in it, our motivation and passion is in it. So this is a really strong drive and force to almost get what you want, as long as you're clear on it, because the Virgo energy is all about planning, organizing, strategizing, having a very detailed view on what you want to improve, and that is mind body together, you know. So this grand Earth trine is all about receiving information, receiving some kind of an intelligence download, receiving ideas, all about breakthroughs and all about taking action, moving forward in a very practical way in your life. Very much about getting what you want and knowing which steps to take for that. So it's very creational, and the new moon is very creational, so use it. On that note though, Mercury is in pre-shadow phase, so he's getting more mischievous, and you know, some communication might get a little bit derailed, our plans might get a little bit derailed and go haywire. Careful with electronics, with communication and transport, mobility. So contracts, agreements, your focus is a little bit off probably around this time. In a week's time after this lunation, on August 23rd, Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo. So remember that from August 23rd on, our mind is not that clear anymore, and it will be very much in a reflective mode. Again, very reflective upon our plans, what we want. Again, about improvement of our lives. We'll be really focused on the practical reality of it all, and also on wellness and health, okay? So that Mercury retrograde will occur until September 15th. Okay, so until September 4th, we will have both a Mercury retrograde and a Venus retrograde. So that's a little tough because things might be really unclear, okay? So after August 23rd until September 4th, the energies are very reflective, a little perhaps chaotic and different than what you're used to. And it's just about reevaluating and going back to see what needs to change, what you can do, and how you can improve your situation overall in your love life, in your mind, in your heart, all of it. Last but not least, in the background, we also have Jupiter reaching almost 15 degrees of Taurus. Now, 15 degrees of Taurus is a world point, and it means that it's sort of closer to Earth and therefore really powerful. You know, 15 degrees of the fixed signs we want to watch out with. And especially because 15 degrees of Taurus was a eclipse point November 8th of 2022. And then it's also important because the full moon in Leo, related to this new moon in Leo, right, occurred around February of 2023. And that was around 15 degrees of Leo, which was squaring 15 degrees of Taurus that Jupiter is on right now. This just makes me worry a little bit that it's a world point. It's activating the eclipses, and those eclipses were a bit volatile, okay? Especially for Turkey, because they had a huge, massive earthquake when the full moon in Leo was squaring the world point at 15 degrees, which is an eclipse point. It's very technical, very astrological, but I wanted to mention that because Jupiter is touching it. And as you know by now, Jupiter is a planet that amplifies, so makes everything bigger, not necessarily good or bad, although some literature would say that it's a benefic, so it's a protector, it's a, it brings in fortune. And then on the other side, others see it as, over promising, under delivering, not really contributing that much. It's just, fluffing things up, and it could bring up the uncomfortability. So in my view, Jupiter is a protector, is about fortune, but it can also overpromise. It doesn't necessarily do all that we would want it to do, but I do feel that it protects in a way. Maybe not necessarily in the way that we would like, but it will always give a lesson, and that is the blessing, okay? And it will teach us, it will bring in the wisdom that I think is not always comfortable, because lessons usually aren't, but then lessons turn into blessings. So because you extract the wisdom out of it, right? So it's a thing to keep in mind. I wouldn't be surprised if I heard something triggering the eclipse point, triggering that full moon point that, caused a devastating earthquake. So, but because it's Jupiter, which is slightly positive, because this is a new moon, which is positive usually, I feel that that could really tamper the whole issueness of this trigger. But it's there in the background, so we'll live and see what that brings. It's just it's there, and maybe it will give light upon what happened. Maybe it will give the lesson, maybe it will be able to, to extract the wisdom of whatever happened. But it's a trigger point, okay? So some world events could occur, and because Jupiter's in Taurus, it's something with earth, something with nature, could also be something with our financial systems. So yeah, that's that in the background. But overall, this is a beautiful new moon. This is a very exciting new moon, and this is very much almost like a Venus retrograde new moon. So love is in the forefront, and really step up your power and step into the power of your heart. I'll see you in the next lunation situation. Bye. Take care.